My BF deleted texts from his work friend, so I pretended to be him and uncovered his double life. He had a pregnant wife, and I wasn't his only affair. I've been with Ryan for 3 years now, and I thought we were happy. We met at a local CrossFit gym where he was working as a trainer. I had just moved to the city after a messy breakup and was looking to get back in shape and meet new people. Ryan was fascinating, funny, and seemed genuinely interested in helping me reach my fitness goals. At first, I was hesitant to start anything romantic. My ex had cheated on me with a mutual friend, and I was still dealing with trust issues. But Ryan was patient and understanding. He'd often stay late after his shift, spotting me during workouts and chatting about everything from our favorite movies to our dreams for the future. Slowly, I found myself falling for him. We started dating about 6 months after we met, and it felt like everything clicked into place. Ryan was attentive, supportive, and always seemed to know how to make me laugh when I was feeling down. Last year, we decided to move in together. It was a big step for me, given my past experiences, but Ryan made me feel safe. We found a cozy apartment near the gym and spent weekends exploring our new neighborhood, trying out local restaurants, and planning our future together. Ryan had always talked about wanting to open his own gym someday, and I was excited to support his dream. With my background in marketing and his fitness expertise, we thought we'd make a great team. We even started setting aside money for what we jokingly called our gym fund. Everything seemed perfect until last week. We were having a quiet evening at home, just relaxing on the couch after a long day. Ryan was scrolling through his phone when he suddenly chuckled and showed me a funny meme he'd received. The sender's name caught my eye. Megan. I recognized it as the name of his former coworker from the gym. Something about the interaction felt off. I casually asked, "Oh, you still keep in touch with Megan?" Ryan shrugged it off, saying they occasionally shared funny posts. But as he was putting his phone down, I noticed the chat history was surprisingly short for people who regularly shared content. My curiosity got the better of me. While Ryan was in the shower, I checked his phone. To my shock, I discovered he'd deleted most of their conversation history. Only a few recent innocuous messages remained. When Ryan got out of the shower, I confronted him about the deleted messages. At first, he tried to brush it off, claiming he didn't know what I was talking about. But as I pressed further, his story began to change. Ryan finally admitted that Megan had been sending him flirtatious messages for months. He claimed he'd deleted them to avoid drama and insisted he hadn't encouraged her behavior. But something still felt off about his explanation. I asked to see their full conversation history, but Ryan said he couldn't retrieve the deleted messages. Growing frustrated, I suggested sending Megan a message from his phone to get to the bottom of things. Surprisingly, Ryan agreed. As I began texting Megan, pretending to be Ryan, the truth quickly unraveled. It became clear that not only had Ryan been responding to her flirtations, but he'd also been actively encouraging them. They'd been exchanging suggestive photos and making plans to meet up as friends. When I revealed to Megan that she'd been talking to me, Ryan's girlfriend, instead of him, her response was shocking. She claimed she had no idea Ryan was in a relationship and that he'd been pursuing her for months. Confronted with this new information, Ryan's story changed yet again. He admitted to flirting with Megan, but swore nothing physical had happened. His excuse? He claimed he was trying to set up a surprise threesome for us, knowing it was something I'd expressed curiosity about in the past. I was furious. Yes, we'd had hypothetical conversations about threesomes before, but I'd made it clear I wasn't ready for that step. More importantly, I'd emphasized the importance of open communication in our relationship. Ryan's secretive behavior and repeated lies had shattered my trust. Now, I'm at a loss. Ryan's been begging for forgiveness, swearing he'll cut all contact with Megan and do whatever it takes to regain my trust. But I can't shake the feeling that if I hadn't caught him, this behavior would have continued or even escalated. Part of me wants to believe Ryan's intentions weren't as bad as they seem. We've built a life together over the past 3 years. We've talked about marriage, kids, and growing old together. Just last month, we were excitedly planning the layout for our future gym, discussing everything from equipment placement to class schedules. But another part of me is screaming that this is a massive red flag. The lying, the secret communications, the disregard for my feelings and our relationship boundaries, it all points to a fundamental lack of respect. I'm torn between my love for Ryan and the life we've built, and my instinct to protect myself from further hurt. The thought of throwing away 3 years of memories and shared dreams is heartbreaking. But so is the idea of staying with someone I'm not sure I can ever fully trust again. I keep thinking back to the day Ryan and I first met. I was struggling with a heavy barbell, close to giving up, when he came over and encouraged me to push through. "You're stronger than you think," he said. "Trust yourself." Now, I find myself wishing I could go back and give that same advice to my future self. Our shared passion for fitness has been such a big part of our relationship. We've motivated each other through tough workouts, celebrated PRs together, and even planned active vacations like hiking the Appalachian Trail. The idea that Ryan could jeopardize all of that for some flirty texts seems unbelievable. I've always prided myself on being a strong, independent woman. After my last relationship ended due to cheating, I promised myself I wouldn't let anyone treat me that way again. But here I am, wondering if I'm overreacting or if I should give Ryan another chance. My friends are divided. Some think I should hear Ryan out, that maybe this is just a misunderstanding blown out of proportion. Others are urging me to leave, saying that trust, once broken, is nearly impossible to fully repair. I could use some outside perspective. Am I overreacting? Is there any coming back from this kind of betrayal? Or am I setting myself up for more hurt if I give Ryan another chance? How do I reconcile the man I thought I knew with the person capable of this kind of deception? TLDR. Caught my boyfriend of 3 years secretly texting and flirting with his ex-coworker. He claims he was trying to set up a surprise threesome, but his lying and boundary crossing have destroyed my trust. Not sure if I should try to work things out or end the relationship. Update. 1. It's been a week since my last post, and I want to thank everyone for their advice and support. A lot has happened, and I'm still trying to process it all. After reading your comments, I realized I needed more answers. I reached out to Megan, asking if we could meet in person to talk. She agreed, and we met at a local coffee shop, the same one where Ryan and I had our first official date. The irony wasn't lost on me. What Megan told me turned my world upside down. She showed me months of messages between her and Ryan, going back way before I even knew she existed. It turns out Ryan and Megan had a full-blown affair 2 years ago, when Ryan and I had only been dating for about a year. According to Megan, their physical relationship ended when she got transferred to another branch of the gym chain. But the flirtatious texting had continued on and off. She claimed Ryan had told her our relationship was on the rocks and that he was planning to leave me soon. I was devastated. Not only had Ryan been lying to me about the extent of his relationship with Megan, but he'd also been painting a completely false picture of our relationship to her. As I sat there, staring at the messages on Megan's phone, memories from 2 years ago came flooding back. There was a period when Ryan had seemed distant, often canceling our plans at the last minute or showing up late to dates. At the time, he'd blamed it on stress from work and family issues. I'd been understanding, even going out of my way to support him through what I thought was a tough time. Now, I realized I'd been unknowingly giving him the space to carry on an affair. When I confronted Ryan with this new information, he broke down. He admitted to the affair and the ongoing emotional cheating. His excuses ranged from feeling insecure in our relationship to being afraid of commitment. He swore he loved me, and that Megan meant nothing to him, but his actions spoke louder than his words. In the midst of this chaos, I received another shocking message from Ryan's ex-girlfriend, Alexis. Apparently, she had seen my original Reddit post, which had gained more traction than I expected, and recognized the situation. Alexis and I met up at a park near my apartment. As we walked along the tree-lined paths, she revealed that Ryan had done something similar to her years ago. They had dated for 2 years before Ryan met me, and throughout their relationship, he had carried on multiple affairs, always with the excuse of setting up surprises or spicing things up. She warned me that this was Ryan's pattern, and that he was unlikely to change. Alexis shared her own story of discovery and heartbreak. She told me about finding messages on Ryan's laptop, confronting him and going through cycles of forgiveness and renewed betrayal. I wanted so badly to believe him, she said, her voice thick with emotion. But every time I gave him another chance, he'd just get better at hiding it. I felt like I was living in a bad soap opera. The man I thought I knew, the man I had planned a future with, was a complete stranger to me. Every happy memory we'd shared now felt tainted, like a beautiful painting revealed to be a forgery. In a moment of clarity, I realized I couldn't continue this relationship. The trust was irreparably broken, and Ryan's pattern of behavior suggested this wasn't a one-time mistake, but a fundamental flaw in his character. I packed my things and moved out of our shared apartment. Ryan alternated between begging me to stay and lashing out in anger, accusing me of overreacting and betraying him by talking to Megan and Alexis behind his back. His reaction only confirmed that I was making the right decision. A truly remorseful person would understand my need for answers and respect my decision, not try to guilt me into staying. I'm now staying with my sister while I figure out my next steps. The pain is still raw, and there are moments when I miss the life I thought we had. I miss our Sunday morning runs, our silly dance parties in the kitchen, the way Ryan could always make me laugh even on my worst days. But I'm also feeling a sense of relief. I know I've dodged a bullet by discovering Ryan's true nature before we got married or started that business together. To those who advised me to trust my gut and not let Ryan manipulate me, thank you. Your words gave me the strength to dig deeper and stand up for myself. I'm not sure what the future holds, but I know it's brighter without Ryan's lies and manipulation. I'm focusing on healing and rebuilding my life on my own terms. I've started journaling to process my emotions, and I'm considering taking a solo trip to clear my head. The gym, once a place of comfort and shared passion with Ryan, now feels tainted. But I'm determined not to let his betrayal rob me of something I love. I'm looking into other fitness options. Maybe it's time to try that kickboxing class I've always been curious about. For now, I'm taking it one day at a time. Some days are harder than others, but I'm holding on to the knowledge that I'm stronger than I ever realized. As I move forward, I'm grateful for the support of my friends, family, and even strangers on the internet who reminded me of my worth. TLDR. Discovered my boyfriend's flirting was actually a long-term affair. His ex revealed a pattern of similar behavior. I've moved out and am working on moving on. Update 2. It's been a month since my last update, and just when I thought things couldn't get more complicated, life threw me another curveball. After moving out, I've been focused on healing and moving forward. I started seeing a therapist to work through the trauma of Ryan's betrayal. I also threw myself into my work and reconnected with friends I'd neglected during my relationship. Last week, I received a call from an unknown number. The woman on the other end introduced herself as Sophia, and what she told me left me speechless. Sophia is Ryan's wife. Yes, you read that right. Ryan, my boyfriend of 3 years, the man I lived with and planned a future with, has been married for the past 5 years. Sophia found out about me through a mutual friend who had seen my Reddit post. She reached out to me because she wanted to know the truth about her husband's double life. We agreed to meet at a quiet park on the outskirts of town. As I waited on a bench, watching families play and couples stroll by, I couldn't help but feel a sense of surreal detachment. How had my life come to this point? When Sophia arrived, I was struck by how different she was from what I'd imagined. She was tall, with long dark hair and kind. Eyes that looked tired and sad. We sat in awkward silence for a moment before the words started pouring out. The stories we shared were disturbingly similar. Ryan had told Sophia he was often away on business trips or working late nights at the gym. In reality, he was splitting his time between two completely separate lives. Sophia and Ryan had met in college. They'd been the perfect couple. Homecoming king and queen, always together at parties and campus events. They married right after graduation, with dreams of building a life together. But Ryan's work commitments had started almost immediately after the honeymoon. The level of deception was mind-boggling. Ryan had managed to maintain 2 long-term relationships simultaneously, complete with separate groups of friends and even separate social media accounts. He'd created an entirely fictional job as a traveling fitness consultant to explain his frequent absences to Sophia. As we talked, Sophia pulled out her phone and showed me pictures: their wedding day, holidays with family, even ultrasound images. My heart sank as I realized she was 4 months pregnant with their first child. All of this was happening while Ryan was telling me he wanted to start a family with me. I felt sick thinking about all the times Ryan had claimed to be working late or visiting family, when in reality he was going home to his wife. I thought about the nights I'd stayed up waiting for him, the birthdays and anniversaries he'd missed, always with a seemingly valid excuse. Sophia and I spent hours comparing notes, filling in the gaps in each other's stories. We discovered that Ryan had been playing us both, using similar lines and excuses with each of us. He'd even given us the same pieces of jewelry, claiming they were family heirlooms. "He gave me this necklace for our first anniversary," Sophia said, touching a delicate silver pendant around her neck. My hand instinctively went to my own neck, where an identical necklace used to hang. I'd taken it off the day I moved out, unable to bear the sight of it. In a strange way, talking to Sophia has been therapeutic. We've formed an unlikely friendship, bonded by our shared experience of betrayal. We're both angry and hurt, but there's comfort in knowing we're not alone. Sophia has decided to leave Ryan and file for divorce. She's staying with her parents while she figures out her next steps, especially with the baby on the way. "I can't raise my child in a home built on lies," she told me, her voice firm despite the tears in her eyes. As for me, this revelation has brought a sense of closure I didn't know I needed. Any lingering doubts or what-ifs have been thoroughly squashed. I now see that the Ryan I loved never really existed. He was a carefully crafted persona designed to manipulate and deceive. I've decided to take some time for myself. I'm planning a solo trip abroad, something I've always wanted to do but never prioritized. I feel like I need to rediscover who I am outside of this relationship and all its lies. To those who might be in a similar situation, trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't be afraid to ask questions and seek the truth, even if it's painful. The path ahead is uncertain, but for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm finally walking in the right direction. TLDR. Discovered my ex-boyfriend was actually married with a baby on the way. His wife and I have connected and are both leaving him. Update 3. It's been 6 months since my last update, and I'm writing this from a small cafe in Barcelona. The solo trip I mentioned in my last post turned into something of a prolonged journey of self-discovery. Before I left, there was one last chapter of the Ryan saga to close. Sophia and I decided to confront Ryan together. We arranged to meet him at a neutral location, a park near his and Sophia's house, the same park where he had proposed to her years ago, and where he had once talked about proposing to me. The look on Ryan's face when he saw us together was something I'll never forget. For once, he was at a loss for words. As we laid out everything we knew, his usual charm and excuses failed him. He broke down, alternating between apologies and attempting to blame us for ganging up on him. In that moment, seeing Ryan for who he truly was, a scared, insecure man desperately trying to maintain control, I felt the last of my feelings for him evaporate. Sophia and I walked away, leaving Ryan alone on that park bench, finally facing the consequences of his actions. After that day, I threw myself into preparing for my trip. I sold most of my belongings, keeping only what could fit into a backpack. The day before I left, I went back to the CrossFit gym where Ryan and I had met. I completed one last workout, a brutal circuit that left me gasping for breath but feeling stronger than ever. As I walked out of those doors for the last time, I felt like I was leaving behind more than just a gym. My journey began in Ireland, where I hiked the lush green hills and learned to pour the perfect pint of Guinness. From there, I made my way across Europe, each new city offering its own lessons and challenges. I walked the Camino de Santiago, spending long days in quiet reflection as I trekked across Spain. In Italy, I learned to make pasta from scratch in a tiny Tuscan village, the Rhythmic. Kneading of dough becoming a form of meditation. In Greece, I danced until dawn at a beachside festival, feeling truly free for the first time in years. Sophia and I have stayed in touch throughout my travels. She gave birth to a beautiful baby girl 2 months ago. The divorce proceedings are underway, and she's focusing on being the best mother she can be. Hearing about her strength and resilience has been inspiring. As for me, this trip has been transformative. Each new experience has helped me rediscover parts of myself I had lost or neglected during my relationship with Ryan. I've pushed my physical limits by trying new sports, surfing in Portugal, rock climbing in the French Alps, yoga in Bali. Each challenge conquered has rebuilt my confidence bit by bit. I've also met some incredible people along the way. Fellow travelers with their own stories of heartbreak and healing, locals willing to share their culture and wisdom, and even a charming Spanish artist named Alejandro, who's been showing me around Barcelona for the past week. While I'm not ready for a new relationship, it's nice to be reminded that there are good, honest people out there. This journey has taught me the importance of self-love and independence. I've learned that my happiness can't depend on another person, and that it's okay to put myself first. I've rediscovered old passions and found new ones. I've started a travel blog, picked up photography, and even tried my hand at salsa dancing. I'm not sure what the future holds. I'm considering extending my trip, maybe teaching English abroad for a while. The fitness studio dreams I had with Ryan no longer feel like my path. Instead, I'm exploring new passions and possibilities. I've been volunteering at local community centers in each city I visit, teaching fitness classes to underprivileged kids. It's given me a sense of purpose I never expected to find. To everyone who's followed my story and offered support, thank you. Your words gave me strength during the darkest times. And to anyone going through something similar, know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Trust yourself, surround yourself with support, and don't be afraid to start over. Life has a funny way of working out. What felt like the end of my world 6 months ago has turned into the beginning of a new, exciting chapter. As I sit here in this Barcelona cafe watching the world go by, I feel a sense of peace I haven't known in years. I don't know where I'll be 6 months from now, but for the first time in a long time, I'm excited to find out. TLDR. Confronted ex with his wife, found closure, traveled the world, rediscovered myself, and am excited for new beginnings.